Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People. I want you to do this for me right now at the top of the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already a member. Help us get to 13,000 today. Hit the like button if you are already a member. And feel free to leave a comment. That helps the YouTube algorithm show our video to other Carolina Panthers fans. And if you haven't done any of those yet, just do it because your boy stood out. Look, I'm going to show, well, I can't show you, but I don't have on any shoes right now or any socks. So note to myself, this is what I learned today for rainy practices. Pack 2 pair of pants and pack 2 pair of socks. Technically, you might need 2 pair of shoes because most of the journalists here have taken their shoes off and we're trying to dry up. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and talk about training camp today in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Carolina Panthers had an extremely rainy day. Players tried to adjust as they could. You saw some players with shorts on, some players with long pants on. You saw a great variety of the way that players dress in order to deal with the elements today, and it was tough. And Dave Canales opened his press conference with enthusiasm, as only he could, for so many different things and conditions that the team will go through. He likes it all because he knows you never know what you're going to get in any given Sunday. But before we get into the broadcast too much, let's go ahead and go over some of the injuries that the team is dealing with now. There's no official injury report that comes out during training camp, so each day, as reporters just try to gather as much information as we can about the injuries and report those back to you. So with that, we're going to report on a few things. Hunter Renfrow was not practicing today. He's still in what Dave Canales likes to call a return to play mode. Says anytime guys have like a soft tissue injury, they don't want to rush them back because they realize that when you may not feel it that much, and then you get out there and you start playing, you just kind of go, and they really want to be cautious with these guys as they return from those types of injuries. So Hunter Renfrow is still kind of day-to-day, does not know if he's going to play yet on the game on Friday. Very unlikely to practice tomorrow, but they'll just continue to wait and see how things go to determine the next steps for Hunter Renfrow. But I think as excited as we've been about him, it's reason to make sure that you take your time with this guy who's been out for a year and get him back into the mix of things. Nick Scorton is also another guy that Dave Canales described being pretty much the same thing as getting a return to play kind of mode and soft tissue, just kind of wanting to roll these guys into it, trying to reduce their capacity in which they're coming back to the field. And also Derek Brown is another guy that did not practice much today. I think he was out there a little bit. I'm not 100% if he was out there a little bit, but I know he did not do much today at all. Derek Brown did not do much today. Derek Brown will not be taking part in the joint practice tomorrow with the Cleveland Browns. It's a rib injury that he's dealing with. So, as Dave said, thank God it's not the knee. It's something different, but still needs to be precautious with Derek this time of year. It's a long season, a lot of football ahead of these guys. And if it's a veteran, you absolutely do not need to get him back out there any quicker than what they're doing right now. So let's go ahead. And Dave Canales had a great intro to his press conference today, and I think it's best to not sum up his words to let you hear his enthusiasm for practice today. So I'm going to cue that up for you right now.
A little sloppy. There were kind of some. What a gift! I mean, just to get the experience of it, that could happen. That could happen to us early in the season, here with just some of the storms that have been rolling through. So I think the passing was a little sloppy. There were kind of some what would normally be like some obvious catches for guys that went through hands on both sides, really some interceptions that we kind of missed opportunities. But, the challenge to the team was coming off a day off was, I think the last rack we had, we came off a break and kind of stumbled our way into practice and found our energy by the end. But I saw JC and Derek and Ashawn grab the defense together before the first drill, and really, I could tell they were challenging each other. We got to go now. The offense.
So I wanted to play that beginning clip for you guys just to hear Dave's always enthused about challenges, and he likes to use challenges as a way to get better, something that has you prepared for a lot of different things. So said practice started off a little sloppy today. And I'm gonna tell you, it was kind of sloppy throughout, to be honest with you. Some of it you can't really blame the players because it was quite a constant rain out there the entire time for practice today. Practice today was about an hour, 45 minutes. So, most of the time they've been about an hour and a half. It seems like when they put on pads, they may go a little bit longer. Today was originally scheduled to be a padded practice. At least that's what Coach told us on Saturday at FanFest. But it ended up being a unpadded day. But tomorrow, for the Cleveland Browns, 100% expected to be a padded practice. Coach Canales and Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns have been in talks. They know it's supposed to rain tomorrow. They're prepared for it. They're still going to practice as usual. And they're also going to take the precautions to make sure the practice tomorrow isn't a practice that's full of melees and whistle blowings and guys trying to see who's the baddest. So Canales today spoke about the precautions that him and Kevin have talked about that they're going to take to make sure the practice tomorrow is practice and not like, Royal Rumble 2025 here in Charlotte. So let me go ahead and cue that up for you guys as well.
It'll be about this opportunity to go against other pros, so we're excited about that.
Padded? Will it be padded?
Yes, it'll be a padded practice. We've been going back and forth. We'll have an opportunity for some of our leadership on both sides to talk to each other about, kind of like the rules of engagement and what we're expecting. We're expecting the physicality of it. We don't want people laying out and making wrap tackles. It's very similar to what we did at FanFest. And so, Kevin and I are on the same page that way. But we definitely want to get the physical, high intensity nature out of it.
Good old YouTube now, which will play a video which will play a commercial at any point of your video. So you saw that little quick video there from YouTube. But Canales is saying, hey, they're spoken, both the head coaches, and now tomorrow expect the leaders on both the teams to come together before and say, hey, let's have a good practice. Let's not fight all day. But if there are some melees, if there's some whistleblowing, we'll be sure to bring that to you so you can know exactly what happened with practice. As I promised you guys this year, and will be for the same case for next year, I understand fans aren't able to be at the training camp like they normally are, and you want as much content as you can. So I'm going to continue to do what I can and what I need to make sure that I bring you all the most full, complete highlights from practice each and every day. And then certainly we're about to go through some play-by-play of what I saw today so that everybody can soak that in and have another level of understanding what this team is doing, what they look like, and decide on how excited you may want to be for this upcoming 2025 season. A few quick shout-outs. NC Thorne, loving this weather myself after the July we had. It seems kind of extra cold, right, because we had such a warm – we're coming off I forget what the streak was, 20-something days in a row of 90-degree plus weather, and several of those days felt like 100 plus. And then now I don't know what we're at, what is it, upper 80s, lower 80s? It feels cool. And to go from that very, very hot heat to extremely wet and cool, I think that was certainly an adjustment for the players. But let me give a shout out to NC Thorne. What's up to B Stallion? Yeah, I haven't seen you on here in a while, so good to catch up with you and see you, B Stallion. And Jay the 6th, and then we got to do this for our members, right? Because we always give the special love to our members to help support this channel, help keep us going. Not B Stallion, SC Panthers boy, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. You've been nearly perfect attendance at training camp. I really think you have. If you haven't been perfect, you've been extremely close, and I appreciate the support. And so, hey, quick plug, anytime that you're able to become a member, support this channel, do a super chat, it's needed, it's greatly appreciated, helps us grow, helps us have the resources to do the things that we love to do, which is cover this Carolina Panthers team very up close. And what I like to say is be a friend in the media to you guys. Daryl Sutton, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing well. All right, so that was some of the things that happened today. Dave Canales talked about the injuries. All right, let's go ahead and roll into the play-by-play. So what we're going to have is, it was a team period, which I'm going to go over first. And let's go ahead and run into it. So shotgun, Bryce with a incomplete to JT Sanders. And then it started very quickly. What started? Well, the conditions, the adversity of the rain and a wet football to go throwing around. But Bryce Young fumbled the snap, and he then just pitched it out to Rico Dowdle on the next play. Bryce, again in the shotgun, hands it off to Trevor Etienne, and then there's a flag on the play. So there was sloppiness from quarterback exchange from the center, happened both to Bryce Young and Andy Dalton. Sloppiness with players catching the ball, which is understandable. I mean, to a degree, that's understandable that you're going to have some of that at this point in training camp for sure. And then there was some sloppiness with penalties. There were lots of penalties today. So to me, overall, it was a, B- kind of overall practice, C+ kind of practice. But I'm going to go through it all and let you guys have an idea for yourselves on what kind of practice today was. Andy Dalton's in the shotgun, hands off to Raheem Blackshear. Andy Dalton in the shotgun, hands off to Imani Bailey. Andy Dalton with a deep pass, went incomplete. I didn't write down my full number of conversions here, so give me a split second. Jacoby George was the incomplete pass attempt by Andy Dalton. Next play, shotgun, Bryce Young, complete to David Moore. Next play was Bryce Young in the shotgun with a handoff to Rico Dowdle. Very nice play action on that play by Mr. Bryce Young. And then we have Bryce with the incomplete pass to Teteroa McMillan. Teteroa did not have the most successful day in the rain today in Carolina, but he's a rookie. You're going to see that. But I am going to say he did not have the most success. It wasn't terrible, but he's a rookie and learning. And that's something that all players I've been hearing have said about T-Mac, is that he's a young guy. You can tell he wants to be great, but he's also willing to learn from anybody. He listens, not just like ask a question, just like, oh, whatever. No, he listens, is what every player has been emphasizing about T-Mac as he continues to ramp up his rookie season here with the Carolina Panthers. Next play, Bryce Young with a handoff to Trevor Etienne. And then we go to 7-on-7. Bryce Young with a completion to Teteroa McMillan. And then Bryce Young incomplete to Adam Thielen. This was a bad pass by Bryce. The pass was behind Adam Thielen, so really did not have an opportunity to catch that one. And then he comes back with a nice bullet to, let me get my cheat sheet to, right back to Adam Thielen. Why did I forget Adam Thielen's number temporarily there? But it was nice passing catch by Adam Thielen from Bryce in the middle of all this heavy rain today. And then Bryce attempted to hit David Moore going down the sidelines, could not hold on to the ball. Definitely, I would say that one's part of a wet ball syndrome there. But David Moore, I hadn't made my complete video yet. You look for it on this wide receiver room, which we know is pretty deep. Who's going to make it? Who's on the bubble? Who's in? David Moore, quick thoughts, not looking at all my notes, may be a bubble guy right now. Maybe. Anyway, let's go back to the play-by-play. Andy Dalton comes in incomplete to JT Sanders, but he was well defended on that play by Shamar Bartholomew, who's been doing pretty well. Bartholomew came in, knocked the ball out of JT's hand, so that was a incompletion on that play right there. And then Andy Dalton over the middle. He was attempting to hit Kobe Hudson. And then I'm going to blame that on a wet ball as well. I think I skipped over something. Hold on. I need to start wearing my glasses when I do this. Hold on just a second. Yeah, so that's right, but I did skip over this one, so I hadn't said this one yet. But Andy Dalton with a completion to Luther on a post route, jumps up, catches it well, nicely with his hands. So good job there. And I saw some positive comments coming from you guys. I appreciate it so much. Again, I don't hide the fact that you guys make this channel, that I appreciate the support of everybody. So whenever I see you out and about, please say hello. It happened today. Hope it continues to happen if you see me out. And thank you for the support. I'm going to keep grinding it out and get you all the information that you need to continue to support this Carolina Panthers team. Next play. Want to make sure I don't jump around here. So Bryce Young incomplete to Adam Thielen. It was no flag on this play, but it was definitely some close contact. Next play, 9 with a deep pass to my man Jimmy Horn. He was well defended, and it was another player. I didn't get his name converted here, but number 21. He was coming across. Got a feeling that if it was a pad today, like if it was a regular game, that this guy would have came and may have not knocked the ball out, but would definitely have tested Jimmy Horn Jr.'s toughness, because he would have definitely had a hit on it. Would have been after the catch. So I still feel like it would have been a very good catch by Jimmy Horn, but it was nice to see he was one of these hands guys, catching the ball with his hands in the rain, brought that ball in pretty strong, and that was a touchdown from, again, deep pass from Bryce Young to Jimmy Horn Jr., and then Bryce ended that 7-on-7 series with the completion to Adam Thielen. And then special teams was up next. On this special teams part, they were mostly just practicing kicking the ball. Very nice punt by the punters today. One punt was kind of short, but overall with the rain, to me, the punter did extremely well with his kicking today, and so did the punt returners. All the guys that were out there taking turns at punt return, nobody bumbled the ball, everybody caught it cleanly, and then they also made good decisions, right? So a good decision is when you're not sure if you're going to get to that ball, especially in these wet conditions that they have right now today. You may want to come back and retreat to make sure that you stay in a defensive position to not have that ball just bump into you and get recovered by the kicking team. So special teams punt practice today did very well. So after that special teams period, now they went back into a team drill. So let's go through the team drills. Bryce Young in the shotgun had to scramble to get away from the pressure and end up blowing that play dead. So defenses, to me, continued to play some really good football. But I always feel like the offense is a little slow getting everything together. Even though they have a lot of returning pieces, they're still trying new things and getting that timing together. Defense doesn't so much have to worry about timing. They just have to communicate well. Next play, Bryce Young in a shotgun complete to Rico Dowdle. Next play, shotgun handoff to Chuba Hubbard. And then there was an offside on the offense. So, again, I feel like today was about a B-, C+ overall with practice, because there was some sloppiness in many different areas. And, honestly, as I tell you guys and I think about it a little bit more, I feel like it was more on the offensive side. I don't think there were too many defensive sloppy plays today. I think they were mostly on the offensive side. All right, after that, offsides on the offense. I was watching closely Tetaroa on J.C. Horn. At the start of the play, they were on my left as I was watching from the end zone. And to be honest with you, Tetaroa got a step on J.C. out the beginning. And J.C. was playing press. That's up close on Tetaroa. And I think as the play developed that J.C. played it like that, where he was able to get beat off the start because he knew they weren't going to be going too deep. And so sure enough, after about 5 steps, Tetaroa is breaking and J.C. is kind of sitting on it. Bryce ends up going to the other side of the field, so that was happening on Bryce's right. He ends up going to the left-hand side of the field, and there was a completion to J.T. Sanders on a very nice catch by J.T. He was going out of bounds, had to extend for it while keeping his feet in bounds. So in the rain, catching the ball like that out of bounds, extending but staying in bounds. Really, really good catch by J.T. Sanders on that play. Next play, Andy Dalton comes in, and give me just a second. One more second here. And if you haven't, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We got to get to 13,000 today. 13,000 subscribers is what I want to get for being in the rain all day and freezing. But I love what I do and love being a resource for you guys. All right, so this next play that I had, need my glasses to figure out where I was. All right, hold on, guys. All right, here we go. Found out where it was. So Andy Dalton was in a shotgun, and he completed the ball. I'm sorry, this was incomplete to Bryson. It was out of reach, so it wasn't the best thrown ball to Bryson on that play by Andy. Next play, Andy comes in, completes to Adam Thielen on a screen pass, and that would have been ruled a touchdown. Nice little play by Andy to Adam Thielen. Next play, Andy's in the shotgun, extremely well defended by number 22. Let's see if I can convert these numbers for you guys really quickly here so you won't have to match it up. So Lathan Ransom was on the defense of a ball that was intended for Karan Lynch-Adams. Next play, Bryce Young in the shotgun, hands off to Chuba. Next play, Bryce Young, incomplete pass to Rico Dowdle. And again, the rain played a factor and Rico not being able to bring that in. It did hit his hands pretty nicely. It was a well-thrown ball, but Rico was not able to hold on to that one. Next play, Bryce Young scrambles and then hits Trevor Etienne in the end zone as he was defended by 53. So that's your team drill. And then next up was, unfortunately, Ryan Fitzgerald, as he had kicking duties today on a very, very rainy, wasn't highly windy, but it was a rainy day, and he did not fare too well. Ryan Fitzgerald, folks, was 1 of 5 in kicking today. But I want to make sure that I continue to give some perspective because I see NC Thorne out here says sound like they need to keep looking at kickers. One of the things that they're doing, which I really don't believe they did all of last year, I feel like they had them out there, but they're kicking on field goal posts that are not the regulation width. These field goal posts, I don't know the exact difference, but they've been called the skinnier goalpost, narrow, but they're not your regulation goalpost. They have these things on wheels. They just roll them out, set them on the field, and the guys go to kick through them. So some of the times, pretty much every day, it's like, well, I think that kick would have been good if it was on a regulation goalpost. So please, as us media report to you all about the kicking, what's good and what's bad, keep that in mind that all training camp, these guys have been kicking on field goal posts that are not the regulation width, all right? What's up, Ali Bodrick? Appreciate you tuning in. All right, so now we're going to go through the last session, a long one, team drills to end out the day. Bryce Young in the shotgun, scrambles, flag on the play, but it is a completion to David Moore. Next play, Bryce Young hands off to Chuba Hubbard. Next play, Bryce Young with an incompletion to Jalen Coker. There was a flag on the play, maybe a little bit of contact. I couldn't see what the official called for that penalty, but that play was intended for Jalen Coker. Next play, Bryce Young hands off to Rico Dowdle. Then Andy Dalton comes in, ends up having to throw the ball away on a bootleg pass. So that's some good, cover sack kind of deal, a coverage throwaway by the defense on that play. And then Andy Dalton in the shotgun hands off to Trevor Etienne. Next play, Andy Dalton in the shotgun tosses to Jimmy Horn Jr. Another nice catch by Jimmy Horn Jr. in the rain. Really like the way this guy was catching the ball with his hands today. Did not drop a pass today, Jimmy Horn Jr. did not. So his potential to make this deep, wide receiver room continue to trend up for Jimmy Horn Jr. Next play, Bryce Young hit a wide open JT Sanders. Ball was knocked out of his hands once he crossed the end zone, but, that's a touchdown. All you got to do is break the plane with the ball, and what happens after then is extra. So JT Sanders with a nice completion, wide open ball caught by JT, thrown from Bryce Young. Next play, Bryce is in the shotgun, hands off to Rico Dowdle. Next play, Bryce Young to a T-Mac who is a rookie, who I already told you was going to have a day that he struggled. So this one was dropped by Teteroa in the end zone. Certainly would have been a touchdown. He got up a little slow. You can tell he's frustrated, but he should be frustrated. But he is a rookie. He is learning. No worries. It was a lot of rain today, which I'm sure none of these guys are used to playing in that degree of rain like it was today. It's something you just have to continue to get used to with years of playing. Bryce Young with a handoff to Chuba. And then I like this Bryce Young sidearm with the completion to Teteroa McMillan. Bryce Young hands off to Chuba. Bryce Young, flag on the play. I'm telling you, it was some sloppy football out there today. Bryce Young, again, next play, a penalty. So that's back-to-back penalties. Haven't seen that all training camp, the number of penalties that we had today. And then there was an interception thrown by Bryce Young to Lathan Ramson. I think Coach said on that play it would have been a pass interference. Don't have the luxury of knowing the exact plays that coaches are talking about because we don't have the best angles every time, but putting 2 and 2 together, I think that's what Canales was talking about when he had his press conference with the media today. Andy Dalton comes in, hands off to Rico Dowdle. Nice play. Bounced outside for a big gain by Rico on that handoff. Then Rico got another handoff from Andy. And then Andy attempted to hit Jalen Coker, but it was not a good ball by Andy on that one, so it was incomplete. He did come back on the next play, hit Trevor Etienne. Andy Dalton did. And then here's Andy's turn. Andy then bobbles a snap from being under center. He tries to scramble and keep it alive, but they end up blowing that ball dead as well from Andy. And then my man Jack Plummer had a chance to come in. And Jack, I got to give this guy credit because he's a third stringer. Probably doesn't know if, the game plan each day is going to allow for him to get some reps or not. So a lot of times during practice, you'll see Jack just running back and forth down the field, just trying to stay loose, which, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right, to make sure that when you do get your opportunity that you're ready. So Jack comes in. Couldn't clearly see this play, so I won't comment on that one. Next play, Jack is in the shotgun. Play action completes to Raheem Blackshear. But guess what? There was a flag on the play. Not sure what the flag was for. I think that one actually, I have in my notes, was a false start. So something on the offensive side. So again, for me, Chris Jenkins, Charlotte Vibe, my opinion, offense today was a little bit challenged. And then, unfortunately, for a lot of these plays, why Jack was in here, just to give you guys a visual, I'm here in the end zone. These guys are 80 yards away, technically 90 if you count the end zone, away from me. And then there's a line of players, and then there's the play that's being run. So there's distance, and then bodies in the way, and then the play being run. So was not able to see a lot of Jack's plays in terms of who he was passing to or who the play may have been defended by because of that distance and those bodies being in the way. But overall, I would say there were several penalties because of it. Not because of it, but there were several penalties during that part when Jack was in there. And the plays that I could see to the fullest was, who is this? This is another false start. So I'm not even going to go through the rest of my notes for Jack because, again, of that challenge there. But there you have it. Another day, another recap, another play-by-play. So I try not to go through it too fast, but I don't want to go too slow. You always have the ability to just watch the video again, slow it down, write on your all notes. But my goal in reporting is I certainly am not afraid to give you all my opinion and my breakdown, my analysis. But I want to make sure that I also give you all the raw plays, the raw information, so that you can decide on how you feel about this team, where you think they are. And again, I'm here for questions as well, which I do see a few questions have come by. So let me go ahead and take a moment. Let's see, just a trick shot 007. What's up, Chris? It's been a while since I have been on here. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Cold today. I know that sounds strange to hear in the middle of the summer, but it was a lot of rain. It was a cool day in Charlotte, so I don't have any socks or shoes right now as I'm trying to dry off for the day and head back to the house, but doing pretty good. Nice to see you, but yes, it has been a while. Trick shot. Man, I'm going to mess up names. So appreciate the comments. I really, really do. Thank you all very much for those comments and your support. And Easley Thorne says, keep pounding. I will certainly keep pounding. Hope this Carolina Panthers team will keep pounding. If you have tuned in and watched this far, please do yourself a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Go live all the time so we can interact with you all, hear what questions you have, and give you, like what I like to say is be a friend in the media to you all. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. The Cleveland Browns are going to be in town. Practice will be as normal as can be, depending on how hard the rain is. I think they probably will change things around a little bit if it's raining as hard as it was today. But we'll have photos, we'll have video, we'll have highlights, and we'll take your questions. So make sure you subscribe, turn on your bell notification so we can continue to keep you up to date. Reporting live from Bank of America Stadium, I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe.